What's up, people? Welcome back to Invest with T Claus. My name is Tevi, and this channel is dedicated to my investment journey, along with coverage on crypto, Tesla, Neo, Virgin Galactic, and ChargePoint. Come for the information and stay for the perspective. So this was a tougher week in markets, and interestingly enough, a pretty stark contrast from the last time I talked to you about Neo on the channel, right? So this go around, inflation moved back up, and though the Fed did not raise interest rate this week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell made it very clear that one more rate hike could be in the cards before year end. Between the tough macro backdrop and the Bombshell Nio dropped earlier, the stock is down 18.22% this week alone. That's significant, okay? And so in today's video, I'll go over what happened with Neo and catch you up on the most recent news, then take a look at the technicals to give you a sense of where we could go near term. And I'll close with where I now stand on selling, buying, or holding. As always, this isn't to be taken as financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is my personal approach to investing and a thought process behind it. I'd recommend watching all the way through so that you don't miss out on any pertinent information I'll be sharing. Drop this video an early like if you haven't already, and smash that subscribe button. Those are two easy ways to show your support to the channel and help it grow if you appreciate the content. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with what's fueling the decline. At the start of August, the Neo stock was flying high. Neo had reported record deliveries, analyst upgrades followed, and there was speculation that Neo could soon be partnering with Mercedes-Benz. And that was big news, right? If it was to happen. As the month of August went on, the overall market moved lower. Primary driver there was the August CPI coming in hotter than expected, and people started worrying about what this could mean for the Fed's September decision. When you consider that the Neo stock was up over 50% in early August for its year-to-date gain, and the fact that those who bought the year-to-date low at $7 were up over 100% when the stock hit the year-to-date high of $16.18, it's not surprising that those people took profit. And you can see how the stock came down as the month of August went on, settling in around $10. Now, what actually caused the over 18% drop this week, and once again turned the stock negative for the year with a loss of 12.51%, well, it's the announcement that Neo is raising another $1 billion through convertible notes. So that would be $500 million set to mature in 2029, while the other $500 million will mature a year later in 2030. The reason this matters is because holders of those convertible notes are able to redeem them at any given time before the maturity date. Once conversion is initiated, Neo will have to pay the requested amount in cash, stock shares, or a combination of both. Put simply, this could be very dilutive to existing shareholders if the equivalent of another $1 billion worth of shares were to hit the supply pool. Investors, generally speaking, do not like to be diluted or the risk of being diluted, right? So it's therefore easier at this point for many people to sell while waiting for things to settle down a bit more. The other reason to be aware of, though less impactful, is the rumors going around that European sales of Neo cars weren't as solid as previously anticipated, right? So the claim here is that Neo has only sold 830 cars in Europe since the year started. Now, Neo's president in a recent interview refuted this claim and reportedly stated that the sales figures were inaccurate and were actually 3 to 4 times higher. That sounds good, but let's put that into context. Year to date, Neo has sold 60,318 cars or vehicles. Taking the best case of European sales, this would suggest that Neo sold around 3,300 vehicles in the European market. That only represents 5% of total sales. Essentially, even with a corrected number, sales in that market have not been as substantial as Neo had hoped. They are, of course, working to remedy that, but it is something they did acknowledge nonetheless. So now you can see how both the disappointing sales figures in Europe and convertible note offering news were enough to dampen investor sentiment. That said, interestingly enough, at the analyst level, things remain bullish, okay? The overall consensus rating is a moderate buy with 10 ratings. That's 6 buy ratings, 4 hold ratings, and still 0 sell ratings, which is good. The average price target is $14.24, which is good for nearly a 67% upside from the current level. The top end of the range is at $19.20, and the bottom of the range comes in at $8 flat. The last time we spoke, the stock was way overbought and riding high. I told you then to expect people would sell, and book some profits. And that's exactly what we saw. Taking a look at the chart today, RSI is sitting at 32.36, quickly approaching the oversold zone, which starts at 30 and below. With September delivery numbers still a week out, the stock realistically could continue to slide a bit lower and enter the oversold zone. We could see low 8s or just below that number once again. But it's important to note that despite the sharp sell-off, we did achieve the trend reversal I had called out in my last video, right? You can see here that the 50-day moving average line did cross over the 200-day moving average line. This represents a golden cross, and that in technical trading is a very bullish signal. The key moving forward will be whether or not Nio can rebound and start a steady climb once again. Yes, the capital raise and European sales are watch-outs, but there's no shortage of good news. Nio launched its first Android-based new smartphone. The phone will be fully integrated with the cars and start shipping next week on September 28th. Nio also launched deliveries of the EC6 and at a more reasonable price than initially anticipated. This is good for sales. And the ET7 has become the official vehicle for the annual China International Import Expo, co-hosted by China's Ministry of Commerce. This partnership is great for exposure and raising brand awareness among international audiences. Last but not least, I would once again point out that Nio's biggest catalyst that could help boost the stock price has not even hit yet. What I'm referring to is the monthly sales as we close out the quarter. Nio guided to deliveries in the range of 55 to 57,000 cars. This implies a very strong September at 25K plus cars delivered. So what does that mean for me as far as buying, holding, or selling? The last time we spoke, I told you that it was too early for me to sell. I was finally in the green on Nio, and even though I did expect the stock to pull back, I didn't expect a full retracement, nor did I expect the capital raise news. For those of you who have been following, you know that I went on vacation during the full month of August. And for that reason, I put a stop loss in place to protect my gains. Well, because the drawdown was substantial, I ended up forcibly locking in those gains. This means that I am now sitting on only 100 shares of Nio at an average price of $13.32. I also did say that I would only consider adding more if we fell below my cost basis. And well, now that's where we are. So really, it's time to rebuild my position and further drive my cost basis down. August was a tough month for me and my portfolio, but at least the sell on Nio was a bright spot. And so really the main concern for me now is whether or not I'll be able to rebuild my position fast enough to return to my desired share count before the stock reaccelerates higher. That will be the challenging part. But on that note, that is it for me today. If you found value in my content, click the like button and share with others who you think could also benefit from it. For my newcomers, subscribe. It's free. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you too can stay in the know. I'll be back on Sunday for my weekly video. Till then, you can keep up with me here on Twitter for crypto and NFT related news. Thank you for watching. Stay humble, hustle hard, and I'll see you in the next one.